Welcome back, Buck Don't Know Shit. It's another beautiful morning in Texas. Yeah, pretty day. Yeah, beautiful weather. We got a lot of work to do. Today, I got one more wheel hub to get off the rotor. I'm gonna get those control arms down there, the lower control arms knocked apart, get them ready to be cleaned and painted, and get these bearings off my axles and put the new bearings on. This is going to be the goal today, is getting suspension parts ready. So I'll run you through where we're at. Rear end, got everything painted, ready to go back together. I got my new bearings and races and gaskets in. I'm waiting on the differential carrier. I did find a place to order that. Ordered it from a shop on eBay. It was cheaper. The guy ended up responding to me, answering my question. It was cheaper than what I could get on like Rock Auto, by a couple $100. Should get that. They printed the packing slip right away, but it was Friday night, so I'm assuming it won't go in the mail until today. You should get it in a couple of days. This is going to be the goal today, is getting suspension parts ready. I'm going to get my rear leaf springs, start putting bushings in place, just to make sure one last time that I have everything I need, because I am getting to the point where once my carrier assembly comes in, putting the rear end back together, and then we're putting rear leaf springs in and rear end back in place, and probably going to try to finish everything in the rear first. But I don't know, I may do a little work on the front. Yep, got some more studs to knock out. So let's get that done. So basically all I've done here is put 2x4s under here to give this wheel hub a little space to where it can fall down. When I press on it, got another board on top of here just to give me a little height, and then this is just some sheet metal to help keep the board from splitting in theory, because it is going to be a little pressure on it, but these should press out fairly easily. They're not like press fit in. I think there was just rust, kind of dirt and grime holding it in. So yeah, that just popped right off. So got to get these bearings out of here and the seal out of here. And it looks like there's a race on this side. So I'll put those in the vise and try to pull all that out. Just using my little multi-tool here. Pry the seal off, and it's coming pretty easily. There we go, got it. And bearing. And there is a bearing race right here. Tap it out. I might have to figure out a way to press it out. Like magic. Put that in there. Just have to find the right tools sometimes. Buy one of these. This thing has saved me lots of time. My axle, I am starting to see why people cut this bearing off. It is, there's just no good way to get this tool around it and get it on the press. And by the way, I think I'm like 0 for 4 on this thing actually helping me do anything. So I have found other means to remove bearings so far. Actually, I take that back. I think with the studs and this part of it, I was able to pull these bearings off. So take that back. I apologize. It has come in handy, but for my particular press, there just isn't enough separation between this, what you're trying to push out of this. You know, if I had like some thin, I don't even know how I would do it, because this doesn't fit in between my handle irons. Yeah, I mean, if you had the right kind of jig set up, you could do it, but I don't have anything to fab something stout enough to make that work. You know, I went through the instruction manual and it said to grab 2 2x4s and the shims from your lower control arm and use these plates, and then for support use these studs underneath the plates to keep them from pushing down. But you know, the instructions were all wrong. That just didn't work. I'm just kidding, but that's what I tried. So yeah, I tried to create enough space between the wheel hub right there and this base, and yeah, you know, use these plates up here around it. And I think maybe if I could, if not, and I could have, I just didn't want to take the time to do it, but cut radius in both these 2x4s to get it to where it was closer to the center of the axle, where these plates wouldn't want to fall down. Might have worked, but I had a pretty good bind on it with these studs under here supporting it, and I was afraid I was going to bend the axle, so I gave it. Loose. This makes it very difficult. That's the part that's actually pressed on right there in the critical part. I just have to go without a shield so I can see what I'm doing. The way the instructions said. Yeah, so I had a feeling if I was able to get my air hammer on here, it would come loose, and it did once I had the outer part of the bearing off. This is the main part that's sealed on the axle, and yeah, so I was able to get my hammer inside that lip right there, and it just pushed right off. The other part disassembled. completely. All right, had to get the Dremel tool. Angle grinder's just a little too big. I'm gonna try a couple times along the way to kind of pry it apart so that I don't cut into the axle, and then maybe use my pneumatic hammer to kind of see if it'll knock loose. Just get a little pressure off of this. I think it will come free, although I don't have it very deep on this side yet, but let's see. Rolled. There you don't actually have to cut it in half, just cut a little on it, and you know, it'll kind of loosen up, I guess, and there you go. It's free now. Come off real easy after that. Didn't even cut it all the way through, see? All right, so last thing I got to pull out of the rear end, this seal inside here. I will be using the slide hammer with this connection on it, just a little lip that gets down in there. The other one was pretty hard to get out. I ended up having to cut a little part of it with the Dremel tool, and I think that helped loosen it up a little bit, and then I was able to use the slide hammer to get it the rest of the way. All right, I just cut a little deeper into it. See if that gives it a little relief like it did last time. Hopefully so. Yeah, that's all it is. So I just took my Dremel tool, cut a little deeper into it. I'll show you where I cut. Not all the way through. Just couldn't quite get it. You could probably use a Sawzall. You have to be careful though, you know, not to cut your axle housing. But, let me see, where was that cut at? Yeah, right there. You see, I didn't even cut all the way through, but it was enough to give it a little relief, I guess, where it could squish, and yeah, pulled right out. Been doing some work. Got my not on the car though, that's coming. I got my GPU on, so you see little LEDs going on in there, flashing fancy. So that gives me 2, 3, 4, 8 on this rig. Still got the 5 up there, but I am taking one off. So I'll have 12 cards still for a little while, at least until I get back. Well, actually I'm probably gonna keep that 13th one on until I get back, because we don't have everything we need for her computer that we're gonna build up there somewhere. It's gonna be something like that, but not just screwed to the wall. Like that one is. So anyway, that's what I want to show. I built this table for this CNC router. Got that built, and now that I have it built, and I cut that sheet of plywood that I had laying on the ground right here forever, I'm gonna use the rest of it. I'm gonna leave it, it's 20 inches wide. I'm gonna leave it wider, and replace this crappy 1/4 inch or 3/16 inch maybe luan. Probably just cut that up, throw it away. I can't think of what I need it for. But yeah, put that 1/2 inch plywood up here, and it's gonna be 20 inches wide, so it'll stick out about 4 inches more, which will be wider than that shelf, but that's okay. Give me a little more storage, and definitely will be more stout. There, much better, no sag. And with the thicker plywood, I'm able to stack some of these toolboxes that I don't ever use or rarely use higher. And now I got a bunch of free space, so I'm sure that'll get used up quickly. Why do I do this to myself? I mean, look at this. Look at it, just shit everywhere. I can't even close my own drawers. Oh man, Sawzall box, Sawzall on the ground. Vacuum, extension cord, and hose. Air hose to trip over. Got my ratchet set out, a bunch of little spare parts sitting there on the ground. Some, you know, not tie rods, or other, no. Shit, I can't even think of what those are called right now. Just ordered some more though. But yeah, so parts everywhere. Parts everywhere. I think the only thing I have left to take apart, get that bearing off, that will be easy. And I did this took me like 5 minutes to take this apart. So I'll put you on that. That was there already, I swear. I did not accidentally cut that apart, but I will weld it back up, make it look brand new. So I did not film myself taking any of this apart, but it is completely stripped. Thanks exit 45, the reminder to take this bushing out. I had some issues with it. Mine, this arm here, the bolt and nut that goes through it were actually welded to it, and the welds were all over the nut and the bolt head. Made it very difficult to get a socket on them even after I cut the welds off. So I ended up just cutting it through the middle. That was a terrible idea. Probably should have just gone ahead and cut the bolt head off both sides, hammered it through with my air hammer, and then press the bushing out, which probably what I'll do. This here, cut the rivets off with the grinder from the top. I think it would have been easier, because what I ended up doing was drilling them out anyway. I think it would have been easier just to drill them out, yeah, then use my air hammer and punch them out, because once I did that, it fell right out. So that's really the only thing I have left to take apart suspension wise is this last control arm, and like I said, that one bearing pinion gear. So I will try to get that done tonight. We'll see. I don't know. Probably will get it done. And yeah, then all I gotta get are some bearings for the rear axles. 2 bearings, 1 for each side. And that's it. Everything else is tore apart. Then it's just cleaning, painting, like just really the control arms, those wheel hubs. I think that's about it. Pretty much ready to go back together with stuff. So yeah, we're getting there. Pretty exciting stuff. It really is. Yeah, this was not an easy project. Thought it was going to be fairly easy, but you know, as usual, it was not. I don't know what else to say. I got a freaking mess. Tools everywhere. It's very bad.